Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Every year, without fail, the resolution lands. You know the one, I am going to drink less. It's a promise we make with all the best intentions. We're aiming for fewer late nights, maybe fewer drinks, and definitely fewer regrets the next morning. But let's be honest with ourselves for just a second. That really rigid all or nothing idea of less often just sets us up to fail. It creates this sense of restriction, which, almost always leads to frustration. And then suddenly you feel like you're missing out on the joy, the connection, the celebration. So today, we are going to change the entire game. Our mission isn't to create some guilt-ridden rule book, no. It's to shift the focus from counting drinks to actually understanding them. We're moving into an era of drinking smarter, not smaller. The truth is, and this is something I've seen over and over in my work, especially when writing No Willpower Required, most people are not looking to quit entirely. They want clarity. They want better sleep, consistent energy, and zero regrets after they choose to have a drink. They just want to avoid that awful feeling that they failed some arbitrary test they set for themselves. Look, the instruction drink less is, well, it's pretty useless. It offers no strategy, no biological explanation, nothing. It just focuses on willpower, which we all know is a finite resource. When we replace that restrict mindset with a focused strategy, when it's based on biology, that's when we get control back. So let's unpack the psychological trap we all fall into first. Why does the goal of less backfire so often? It's because when the brain hears a hard rule, a restriction, it triggers this primal, almost rebellious response. Alcohol is so often tied to reward or connection or just stress release. So when you try to cut it out just using willpower, you create a scarcity mindset. And this is the exhausting cycle, right? You feel on track for a week, you say no to a glass of wine at dinner, and that little feeling of deprivation, it just builds. It builds until stress hits, and then the pendulum just swings wildly the other way. You end up drinking far more than you ever intended to. A binge. And then what happens? Instead of analyzing the pattern, you just feel guilty. That swing between being on track and off the rails, it's exhausting. And it ensures that alcohol stays a source of pressure, not enjoyment. This is where the shift to strategy is so crucial. Drinking smarter is not about having superhuman willpower. It's about replacing that pressure with intention, with awareness. And intention completely removes the guilt factor. So what does this new framework actually look like in practice? There are 4 strategic areas that, from my research, give the biggest returns for people who want better outcomes without quitting. First, situational awareness. Knowing when alcohol is guaranteed to hit you the hardest. If you've had a terrible night's sleep, if you're super stressed from a deadline, your recovery systems are already strained, adding alcohol on top of that just magnifies the effect, and the recovery will be, well, significantly longer. Smarter drinking means checking the internal weather before you start. Second, specific awareness. Understanding why certain drinks uniquely affect your mood, your energy, or that next day anxiety. Is it the sugar from a cocktail? The pace you drink beer at? Maybe it's a psychological trigger. The what and the why are fundamental data points for you. Third, pattern recognition. This just means distinguishing drinking for genuine pleasure versus drinking out of simple habit, that automatic pour when you walk in the door. Or ordering a third round just because everyone else is. If you could just remove the habit, you dramatically cut down on consumption without feeling restricted at all. And finally, the most critical piece, proactive resilience. Actively supporting your body before and after you drink to make the entire recovery experience substantially easier. The incredible thing here is that you stop blaming your character, your willpower. You start working with your actual biology. So let's zero in on that biology for a minute, because the impact of alcohol goes so far beyond the immediate buzz. Most of the fatigue, the moodiness, the anxiety we feel the next day, but that's not just leftover ethanol. It's the result of systemic stress placed on key physiological regulators. Let's look at the 3 main systems that really take the biggest toll. First, sleep quality. And I mean the destruction of your REM cycles. Alcohol is a powerful sedative, sure, it makes you feel drowsy, but it is poison to restorative sleep. As your body metabolizes it, it just fragments the second half of your night. You might fall asleep easily, but your body struggles to get into REM sleep. That fuzzy, irritable feeling the next day, that's a direct result of this sleep deficit. Second, blood sugar instability. If you mix alcohol with high sugar mixers, you send your blood sugar soaring. And the crash that follows leaves you feeling irritable, foggy, and hungry for quick energy. This puts a massive amount of stress on your whole system. Third, stress hormones, specifically cortisol and dehydration. Alcohol is a diuretic. It makes you have to run to the bathroom constantly. And this rapid dehydration puts your body into a state of biological stress. Your body reacts by pumping out more stress hormones, especially cortisol. That elevated cortisol is what causes that feeling of vague anxiety, the famous Hangxiety. What's really fascinating here is the compounding effect. If you come into a Friday night already burned out and exhausted, these systems are already depleted. So alcohol hits exponentially harder, and the recovery can linger for days. So the strategic response isn't just avoidance, it's targeted replenishment. If we know alcohol drains specific nutrients, we have to provide focused support. This is the philosophy behind proactive resilience, the very idea I built my work at Cloud9 around. Specifically, there are two key compounds that give direct support. The first is vitamin B1, specifically a form called benfotiamine. Thiamine, or B1, is essential for brain energy and focus. Alcohol is notorious for depleting it, and low B1 leads directly to that post-drinking brain fog and lethargy. Strategic supplementation helps replenish this, directly mitigating that cognitive fallout. The second key component is N-acetyl-L-cysteine, or NAC. Now, this is essential because NAC helps your body produce glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master detox antioxidant, mostly in the liver. So by supporting glutathione with NAC, you help your liver process alcohol's toxic byproducts much more efficiently. It just accelerates recovery. Using targeted support like this isn't a cure-all for excess. It's a strategic acknowledgement of the biological cost. It gives you back some agency. Okay, let's make this immediately actionable. This is your practical checklist. And remember, this requires awareness, not quitting. First, always eat before drinking. Focus on protein and fiber. This isn't just about lining your stomach. Protein and fiber slow down how fast alcohol gets absorbed. This gives your liver a much more manageable timeline. Second, prioritize spacing over stacking. It sounds simple, but it's revolutionary in practice. Consciously drink a full glass of water between alcoholic drinks. It gives your liver crucial time to catch up. Third, opt for lower sugar drinks. Switching to dry wine or clear spirits with seltzer minimizes that blood sugar spike and the crash that follows. Fourth, intentionally bring in alcohol-free days, but frame them as an investment, not a restriction. Instead of "I can't drink," try "I choose optimal energy tomorrow." It's a positive choice, an act of self-care, not some rule you might break. And finally, the most powerful tool you have. Conduct a non-judgmental mental check-in afterward. The next morning, just sincerely ask yourself, did that actually enhance my life, my connection, or did it just create more problems for me today? By being curious instead of critical, you build this powerful feedback loop that will naturally guide your habits. Look, this whole approach is designed for you if you're tired of the extremes. If you're tired of feeling like you're either perfectly on track or completely out of control, it's for people who want control without the guilt, who are curious about optimizing their life without changing their identity. This year, the goal isn't drinking less to prove something. It's about drinking smarter to feel something better. More clarity, more energy, and more intention in every choice you make. Embrace the strategy, support your biology, and just watch how that fundamental shift in awareness changes everything. Focus on intention, not pressure. That is the only way to genuinely win. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.